Hi, I'm Kalpana Galapatti. Welcome all of you to Software Project Management Lesson 4, Project Integration Management Part 1. First, we will focus on learning outcomes of today's session. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to describe an overall framework for project integration management, discuss the strategic planning process, and apply different projects. Okay, let's see what is project integration management. Project integration management is coordinating all of the other project management knowledge areas throughout a project life cycle. Can you remember what are the project management knowledge areas? How many project management knowledge areas we studied? Yes, there are 10 project management knowledge areas, including project integration management. Here we need to coordinating all other 9 knowledge areas such as scope management, time management, cost management, quality management, human resource management, communication management, risk management, and procurement management throughout a project life cycle. Which means that all the elements of a project come together at the right time to complete a project successfully. Six processes in project integration. Six processes are develop project charter, develop project management plan, direct and manage project work, monitor and control project work, perform integrated change control, close project or a phase. What is project charter? What are the things included in it? Okay, no worries. We will learn about project charter in our next lecture. We develop project charter at the project initiating stage. We can consider it is the formal authorization document for a project. At the project planning stage, we need to develop project management plan involves coordinating all planning effort to create a consistent, coherent document. Project executing stage, we have to direct, manage project work. Output of this process are deliverables, work, performance data, change request. If there is a change, then we need to submit change request. Project management plan update. According to the change request, we need to update project management plan. Project document update. Those are the output of this process. In monitoring and controlling stage, we have to perform two processes. What are they? Monitor and control project work involve carrying out the project management plan by performing the activities included in it. And perform integrated change control involves identifying, evaluating and managing changes throughout the project lifecycle. Output of these processes are approved change request, change log, project management plan update, project document update. Those are the deliverables of this stage, this process. At closing stage, we have to close project or a phases. Output of this process are final product, service or results, transition and organizational process asset update. This slide summarizes these processes and outputs and show when they occur in the typical project. Here it shows the where is the project start, where is the project finish, in between these processes we have to do. Okay, next we will discuss role of project manager in project integration. Particularly on large projects, the project manager's main job is project integration management. To perform well in that role, it is important to understand the organization's need and staff your project with skilled workers capable of making the project a success. Good project integration management is critical to providing stakeholder satisfaction. Project integration management includes interface management, which involve identifying and managing the points of interaction between various elements of a project. Think what happens when a project manager does not communicate well with all stakeholders. Can we expect a success of project? No. Okay, so project manager must communicate well with all project stakeholders, customers and the management. Not only the top management, project manager also has valuable insight in project selection process. Next we will move to the strategic planning and project selection. First we focus on strategic planning. Successful leaders look at the big picture or strategic plan of the organization to determine what type of projects will provide the most value. Some may argue that project managers should not be involved in strategic planning and project selection because top management is usually responsible for these types of business decisions. Are you agree with that? No. But successful organizations know that the project managers can provide valuable insight into the project selection process. Strategic planning involves determining long-term objectives by analyzing the strengths and weaknesses of the organization, studying opportunities and threats in the business environment, predict future trends, and projecting the need for new product and services. Strategic planning provides important information to help organizations identify and then select potential projects. Many people are familiar with SWOT analysis. Did you heard about SWOT analysis? Analyzing strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, which is one tool used in strategic planning. Example, a group of 4 people who want to start a new business in the film industry could perform a SWOT analysis to help identify potential projects. We will see how it's look like. This slide shows the SWOT analysis for the previous example. Here we can learn how we can list down strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. We can divide our page into 4 parts and label in 4 different parts as strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Based on their SWOT analysis, the 4 entrepreneurs outline potential project as follows. Find an external accountant or firm to help run the business. Hire someone to help a company website focusing on our experience and past project. Develop a marketing plan. Develop a strong proposal to get the large project the potential client mentioned. Plan to promote the company at 2 major conferences this year. Some people like to perform a SWOT analysis by using mind mapping. I think you heard about mind mapping. For your studies also you can use mind mapping. It's very easy to remember and learn the things by using mind mapping. Okay, we will see how we can use mind mapping for SWOT analysis. A technique that uses branches radiating from a core ideas to structure throughout the ideas. Next we will see how we can perform a SWOT analysis by using mind mapping. The human brain does not work in a linear fashion. People come up with many unrelated ideas. By capturing those ideas in a visual mind map format, you can often generate more ideas than by creating lists. Are you agree with that? You can create mind maps by hand using sticky notes, using presentation software such as Microsoft PowerPoint, or by using mind mapping softwares. These days a lot of mind mapping softwares available. Some are commercial, some are free. You can try to find some. This figure shows sample mind map for the new film industry business SWOT analysis. Can you see that this map has 4 main branches representing strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Ideas in each category are added to the appropriate branch, and sub-branches are shown for some ideas under those categories. Here we can notice that several branches end with a project idea. Can you see? Such as project proposal, conference promotions, accountant, marketing plan, website. We can easily format the project ideas to make them stand out, as shown in this mind map figure. From this example, we can see that no project ideas are identified to address strengths or threats. So these areas should be discussed further. Okay. Next we discuss identify potential projects. In addition to using a SWOT analysis, organizations often follow a detailed process for project selection. This figure shows a 4-stage process for selecting IT projects. In the first stage of the selection process, starting at the top of the hierarchy, a steering committee develops an IT strategic plan that is tied to the organization's overall strategic plan. In many organizations, this steering committee consists of managers from departments throughout the company to ensure that all projects are selected in the best interest of the entire organization. It's very important. The head of the project management office would be part of this committee because the project management office acts as the central location for keeping tracks of all project activities. It is very important to have managers from outside the IT department assist in developing the IT strategic plan, as they can help IT personnel understand organizational strategies and identify the business areas that support them. At the end of this stage, the organization should have a well-defined list of IT strategic goals. After identify strategic goals, the next stage in the process for selecting IT project is to perform a business area analysis. This analysis is outlines business process that are central to achieving strategic goals and helps determine which process could most benefit from IT. In the next stage, the organization start defining the scope, benefits, and constraints of potential IT projects. The last stage in the process for selecting IT project is choosing which project to do and assigning resources for working on them. Aligning IT with business strategy. To get the most value from technology, an organization's strategic plan should guide the IT project selection process. Organization must develop a strategy for using IT to define how it will support the organization's objectives. Top concern of CIOs, Chief Information Officers. Difficult to educate line managers on technologies, possibilities and limitations, and keep IT professionals in tune with changing business needs. Method for selecting a project. Organizations identify many potential projects as part of their strategic planning process, and they need to narrow down the list of potential projects to ones that will be of most benefit. They often rely on experienced project manager to help them make project selection decisions. Selecting project is not an exact science, and many methods exist for selecting projects. Here we are discussing the methods for selecting projects. After we find the projects, potential project from the strategic planning process, then we need to prioritize which one we need to do first, which one is most important. Here we can use 5 common techniques. Those are focusing on broad organizational needs, categorizing IT projects, performing net present value or other financial analysis, using a weighted scoring model, implementing a balanced score record. In practice, many organizations use a combination of these approaches to select projects. Each approach has advantages and disadvantages, and it is up to management to determine the best approach for selecting projects based on their particular organization. Here I want to give some homework for you. Please try to find what are the advantages and disadvantages of these each and every technique we listed here. Here there is 5 techniques. You need to find what are the advantages and disadvantages of those as a homework. First one, focusing on broad organizational needs. Top managers must focus on meeting their organization's needs when deciding what project to undertake, when they undertake them, and what level. One method for selecting project based on broad organizational need is to determine need, funding, and will. Need: do people in the organization agree that the project need to be done? Funding mean, does the organization have the desire and capacity to provide adequate funds to perform the project? Will mean, is there a strong will to make the project success? Second one, categorizing IT projects. Selecting project based on various categorizations such as project inputs, time window and general priority. The input for project is often to respond to problems, opportunities, directives. Problems are undesirable situations that prevent an organization from achieving its goal. Opportunities are chances to improve the organization. Directives are new requirements imposed by management, government, or some external influence. Third one, performing financial analysis. Many organizations require an approved business case before pursuing projects. Financial projections are a critical component in the business case. Three primary methods for projecting the financial value of project. Those are net present value analysis, return on investment, payback analysis. Later we will see one by one. Now we discuss net present value analysis. Because of the time value of money, many projects have financial implications that extend into the future. In order to evaluate potential projects equally, you need to consider their net present value. What is net present value? Net present value is a method of calculating the expected net gain or loss from a project by calculating the value of all expected future cash inflows and outflows at the present time. Organization should consider only projects with a positive net present value. A positive net present value means that the return from a project exceeds the cost of capital. What is it? A positive net present value means that the return from a project exceeds the cost of capital. Projects with higher net present values are performed to projects with lower net present values if all other factors are equal. We will see the example in next slide. Okay. Here in this image show how we can find the net present value. This is the formula we can use to find net present value in Excel like software. We can automatically find the net present value by using built-in formula. Okay. In this example, can you see there is a two project 1 and project 2. Firstly, it mentioned a discount rate is 10%. These two projects are 5-year project. It mentioned first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year. Likewise, for project 1, benefit for first year is $0. Benefit from second year is $2,000. Benefits of third year is $3,000. Benefits of fourth year is $4,000, and benefits during the year 5 is $5,000. Cost during the first year is $5,000. Cost of second year is $1,000. Rest of the years per year there is a $1,000. Look like that. Then we can see total benefits. Total benefits of all 5 years is $14,000. Total cost for this project during the 5 years is $9,000. Then you can see total cash flow at the end of 5 years is $5,000. Okay, here in the row 6 it shows the cash flow in each year. Okay, during the first year there is no benefit, only the cost, so cash flow is negative $5,000. In year 2 cash flow is $1,000. It's a positive value because benefit is $2,000 and cost is $1,000. 2,000 minus 1,000, there's a $1,000 cash flow. Likewise, cash flow in year 3 is $2,000. Cash flow for year 4 is $3,000. Cash flow for year 5 is $4,000. Okay, all together net cash flow at the end of year 5 is $5,000. Okay, then net present value, NPV value of project 1 is, according to that formula, it's $2,316. Okay, we will see next we can see the project 2 benefit, cost and cash flow. Here we can see in project 1 and project 2 net cash flow at the end of year 2005, same value $5,000. Okay, not that totals are equal, but net present values are not because of that time value of money. Here can you see project 2 net present value is $3,201. Okay, so can you guess which project is good according to these two scenarios? Okay, next we will move to the return on investment. We can call it, in short form we can call it as ROI. ROI is a ratio between net profit and cost of investment. Okay, this is the formula which we can find the rate on investment. Return on investment formula is look like this. How we can find the return on investment? Net profit divided by cost of investment into 100. Okay, as example, if you invest $100 today and next year it is worth $110, then what is the ROI? ROI is equal to 1010 minus 1000 divided by 100. ROI is equal to 1010 minus 100. ROI is equal to 110 minus 100 divided by 100. It's equal to 0.10. It's mean 10%. The higher the ROI is better. Okay, if you are going to select project based on ROI value, you need to select higher ROI project. Okay, next we will see payback analysis. Payback period is the amount of time it will take to gain the total money invested in a project in terms of net cash inflows. It determines how much time will goes before acquired benefits overtake acquired and continuing cost. Okay, in simple word, if we are going to do the 5-year project, sometimes during the first year we need to invest. We need to invest money on project. During the second year also we have to invest the money. In third year, mid of the third year, it start to give profit to the project. At that time we can find payback period, when it start the payback. Okay, it determine how much time will elapse before occurred benefits overtake accrued and continuing cost. Okay, payback on occurs when net cumulative benefits equal net cumulative cost, or net cumulative benefits minus cost equal 0. Using a weighted scoring model, that one is fourth method. Okay, a tool that provides a systematic process for selecting projects based on many criteria, such as meeting broad organizational needs, addressing problems, opportunities or directives, amount of time needed to complete the project, overall priority of the project, projected financial performance of the project. Projected financial performance of the project. Steps of creating weighted scoring. Okay. First step, we need to identify criteria that are important to the project selection process. In this example, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 criteria we identify as main criteria. Then as a second step, assign a weight to each criteria based on its importance. In this example, can you see, first criteria is supports key business objective. That criteria give the weight is 25%. Second criteria has strong internal sponsor. That gives the weight 15%. Has strong customer support. That one also give 15% of weight. Fourth one, uses realistic level of technology. That one give 10% of weight. Likewise, according to the requirement, assign a weight to each criteria based on its importance. Okay. Third step, the scores indicate how much each project meet each criteria. Okay. There is a 4 projects. If we want to select one from these 4 projects, we need to give the marks according to these criteria. Then we need to find which project is most appropriate. Okay, how we can find that one? We need to multiply that marks with that weight and plus with the second criteria marks into second criteria weight. Like that way we can added all values and divide by 100. Then we can get the weighted score for that project. Okay, this graph also show what is the weighted score by relevant respective projects. Okay, that score out of 100. Okay. Fifth method, implementing a balanced scorecard. A strategic planning and management system that helps organizations align business activities to strategy, improve communication and monitor performance against strategic goals. Used to select and manage projects that align with business strategy. Okay, now we reach to the end of today's lesson. Could you summarize what we discussed today? We learned about what is project integration management, 6 processes in project integration, role of project management, role of project manager in project integration. Next we studied strategic planning. Under the strategic planning, we learned about SWOT analysis and using mind mapping, how to do SWOT analysis and how to identify potential projects. Next, we move to the 4-stage process for selecting IT projects. Now we know how to select IT project by using 4-stage process. Next, we learn 5 ways of selecting projects, how we can prioritize the project by using 5 methods which align with company's strategies and more beneficial. Those are the things we discussed during today's lesson. Okay, do you have any questions, or do you have any questions, unclear place, or any doubts? Please ask me. You can use discussion forum on LMS to discuss lesson matters or ask question from me or any other instructor. Okay, please use it. Please do the activities on LMS. We will meet on next week with Project Integration Management Part 2, Lesson 1. Thank you for joining with this lesson. Have a good day.